Hi everyone, welcome to the last part of this watercolour tutorial. We've done quite a lot already with this rose painting, and today we're going to be finishing it. So in the last tutorial we started adding in all the leaves. We're going to continue to do that, finish off all the detail, so yeah, get straight into it. Not doing anything different from the last tutorial, so all my materials are laid out in front of me, and I have all the paint ready to go that we used last time, including all the greens as well, and we can jump straight in. So I'm going to continue adding down all the colour for now, and then we can go back in with the detail on the leaf area, maybe a little bit more on the rose as well. So I'm actually going to further putting this rose here in the background that's a little bit blurry, so I'm going to use, trying to decide what colour to go with first. I think we'll use a little bit of this orange that's got a little bit of pink in it at the top. I'm going to add a little bit more pink to that. I'm going to start with this in this top section. Get a little layer of that down. And then some yellow coming out of that. Can blend them together as well, as it's quite a blurry section, I'd say, this rose. Really water down that yellow and take it all the way to the bottom. Add a bit of crimson next to that. Again, it can all blend together. A bit of this pinky purple. There's just a little bit more shadow, I would say, around here. Some more of this yellow. So we get more into that darker area now. It's just more of a natural shadow. I'm also going around some of these areas where you can see the dark leaves are like overlapping. This one's definitely pushed a little bit further back. I'm going with just a little bit of that dark purple. Can blend that. It gets really dark, so that dark purple on this little edge. Now that we've mapped this in, it kind of helps you see. I think when you've got the general outline, sometimes it can be difficult to see where each little bit falls. It can be quite overwhelming, but now we can see there is the background, quite a bit of that is missing around here. So I'll put this in when it dries a little bit more, as we don't want everything to merge. And we've kept all the colours, which is good. add just a little bit more of a curve to the top of here. Just gives it more of a natural look. I think I was kind of missing that. I might do a little bit the other side. It's kind of like an M shape. Yeah, there we go. I'm going with some orange. I think this one actually. There we go. So we can let that blend now, dry, do its own thing. It's not that much really going on there, you know, because it's a little bit more blurry in comparison to the other two roses that we've painted. It's just got more of a blur to it, and obviously I think there's probably more going on at the top of that, but it's cut out of the picture, so just working with what we've got, and you can still create that illusion of the rose. So yeah, really happy with how that's looking. I'm going to use the dark brown that we created, that we mixed with the blue last time. So I'm only going to put these ones in as this petal is dry. We did this one last time. It's this one that needs to continue drying. So I'm just going to put down all this to kind of fill the space now as well. This is where I found, with the leaves especially, the outline has been really helpful, because obviously all these leaves are like overlapping and touching, particularly towards the bottom, so to be able to know exactly where you're going is quite nice. Makes it just a little bit easier. I'm going to go down towards the bottom again and fill in this area. Can you use some of the brown, mix it with a little bit of that background blue for this? So there is quite a bit of blue going on. Water it down just a little. You can go in this. I think that needs watering down a bit more actually. Use the bigger brush to do that. There we go. Yeah, you can see that that's a lot lighter already. That through there, yeah, that's the perfect colour actually. And again, we can go in when that's dried a little bit more with some detail. I do a wash of this over here in that top leaf. I think that looks got a little bit more blue in there. Not going to the edges though here, just because I'm going to go into this leaf now and I don't want to ruin all the hard work that we've put in kind of building up to this leaf. So I'm going to start on the left hand side, on the right hand side, sorry, and work my way to the left. First I'm going to put in this line that kind of creates the structure of the leaf. I'm going to put that down. Well, I'm actually not going to put that down. I'm going to create the negative space using this dark green. We mixed 2 greens last time. Might actually create a little bit more of this. Use the bigger brush to do that. So some earth green. Just because we're running out. I'm not doing this for any other reason. And some of this bluey green, like an emerald. Like I say, we can use this, create that negative space where you've got that lighter area. I'm just going to take my sleeve up a little. I know what I'm like, don't want to create lots of smudging. Being conscious as well that when we get to the lines that we've drawn in, leaving a bit of a gap between them, as there's more negative, or say negative space, there's more of that lighter section to get in. Hopefully you can see what I mean. We're taking it down and then leaving gaps. If not, it will be explained in just a second anyway. Be able to see it a little bit more. It goes down to there. We can also map in. Might actually use the brown for this. So I'm doing that darker line where the leaves take this shape. I go over that emerald green, a little bit of this brown as well. Some of this does blend out. If you look in where this one is here, so it continues to come out. So I'm just really focused on mapping in all the colour. Then with this more of a emerald green, got these little lines get lighter, so I'm mapping in all the underneath part that's darker. You'll be able to see that detail. So if I go and create negative space, so I'm just focused on getting all that appropriate colour in for now. Create that negative space. I keep saying this. That's where that kind of yellowy, just slightly lighter line can go. Filling this one with emerald green. Actually going to use the lighter green for this side of the leaf. Again, creating that line. Gets darker. I'm mixing that emerald green with the brown, and I'll meet here to blend everything. So we're just repeating all the skills now that we've learned throughout this tutorial. Can let a bit more of that dry, that area. Yes, there's still a lot of that white space that we want to fill in, but I'm being conscious that things need to dry before that we can do that. So there's still quite a lot to do in the meantime. Actually going to use some of the background colour just to fill in this space here. Like I say, we can now identify areas where we missed with this colour. So just dotting a bit of that down. Filling that space. Can use the dark brown to put in these areas as well. Oh, I had a lot of paint on the brush there. Now that they are dry enough, I'm going to use this dark brown on this leaf here. Just looking at it, I feel like it definitely needs to be darkened. I'm going to mix a little bit more of the dark brown just so you know that it's there. It's definitely going to be needed for the detailed areas. Bit of blue in that again. I'm going to add a bit more brown to that. Very easy to take that too far. So I'm taking a look at the bottom now with this dark brown. I can decide where we want some detail to go. So coming out of this light line, which is could probably do with darkening, I'm just going to add a thin line underneath that just to show the distinction between the light and the dark. Get that quite a lot with leaves. It's just the way they kind of crinkle. You can see the really light bits well. And then it contrasts really nicely with the dark. And there's like a couple of little lines coming out. I'm just going to put them in, can blend them out as well. And you don't have to do this completely accurately now that we've got all the base colours down, which is nice. cleaning the brush for that blend. Can darken that distinction between the petals as well now. See, there's a slight dark line creeps through there. Just going to map that in. Get a few little lines in there. Kind of working in contrast to the reference photo now, making it, reminding myself this is an expressive piece, and if you want to put random lines in, you're more than welcome to do that. There's no rules, which is nice. Further darkening under here, it's really dark. I'd say it's almost black in the reference photo. So I'm not really going to add detail here as it's not needed, just to, like, if something's that dark you can't see any detail on there, it's too dark to see it, so kind of putting that in. Spread this out, give it a little bit of a blend. Can darken up. Like, these areas are dark, but could be a bit darker, especially in contrast to this leaf that's directly above it. Really darkening up here as well. Like I say, it's really dark in the reference photo. Let's see, gradually it's a bit lighter as it comes out. As we come up to here, add some of the green over the top just so it's a little bit more cohesive. So if you look at this area now, there's a little bit of brown. You can get a couple more lines mapped in. It's like a little bit there. Blend all that out. Darken up this area. Oh, there's that lighter leaf. There's quite a bit of shadow underneath. Straight underneath the rose, I mean. Could be mapped in. Same with here. Going to do a strip of that. Clean the brush. Scrape off the excess. Blend that colour out. Done this plenty throughout, so it's just tying all the skills together to finalise this painting. I'm going to go back up to the top as I feel like it's dried enough to be able to do this now. I'm going to get down, it gets really dark under here. Being careful not to go into the rose. So it kind of blurs a little bit, so don't mind it merging together with these colours. I'm going to go in with that brown around this edge and blend it out a little bit. You can get in a couple of these lines as well, just to replicate that rigid look of a leaf. Just a couple of them. I do that all the way through now. Just doing them little lines that go through. Not doing anything, it's not really any structure to it. I'm going to use a bit of yellow, a bit of the lightest green, going to them areas we've left bare. Add a bit of that light green in there as well. Dark brown through here, really dark there, again with the couple of little lines, just so you've got that general leaf impression. And again, when that's dried a little bit more, we can go in with the lighter colours where there's the negative space. Use some of the background colour as well. Start filling in around here, and you can go back to the wet in wet method like we did for the background if you want to. I'm just kind of quickly chucking it in there. You can dot so it has that same effect. Can add a couple of lines of the dark brown through some more leaves. I think just a couple through here now. Just helps tie everything together, give it a little bit more detail and depth. While we're on it with these little lines, here's some of this orange slash pink that we mixed together. Just put a couple through the actual rose, this second one. It gradually gets lighter so you can go more into the yellow. Helps tie all that detail. So I'm really just looking at the reference photo now and deciding where I want all these colours to go. There's a little bit of a purple petal, dark purple petal here that I missed. So if there's anywhere that you've missed, like so, you go back in now and fill that in. You should be able to see it as you've got everything pretty much filled. Some of this orangey pink, just to line a couple of the tops of the petals. Some of the dark purple actually in this one, just to help with that lining. You can then blend out. Really don't want a lot of water on there, just because it's so small, this detail for the blending. So really just helping everything pop. I'm going to put in this little leaf, the dark brown. Bit of a negative space again. Can actually fill this area, feel like it's dried enough. Can actually use the darker green for this, as if, although there is a blend and a distinction between like the little lines that are lighter, it's still very dark. I'm going to use this bluey, it's very light to be fair. Add a bit more of that background colour here. Although they're the same kind of shade, the colours obviously help you distinguish between background and leaf. Do the same again, that lighter green, bit of yellow. We use some brown, just a couple of lines. some of that lighter green here, kind of sticking it over that negative space. Some areas you can go back over if you want to darken even more. Got a little bit of orange. Just got a little bit on the brush there, watered it down a little through here, just as a tiny bit of detail. Really don't need too much, maybe a bit of crimson as it comes more into that purple side. Back to the orange. Blend them purple lines a bit more. If you're not happy with them, you want to do that before it dries. Blend out any of the detail as well if you think it doesn't look as natural as you'd like, before it completely dries, just with a bit of water. And then back in with like the darker purples, emphasising that within the roses. So we want to really make these roses pop now. We can do the same as always. Put the detail in, clean the brush, scrape off the excess water and then blend it out so that it's still really defined because it's so dark. Just helps it look a little bit more natural. More yellow there, help it pop. A bit of orange. So really all we're doing, just going back in, putting in a few more colours, brightening up. Blending. Yeah, I would say that is essentially everything. Just taking a quick look, seeing how I feel about it. I'll probably notice something I've missed if I come back to it. It's normally how it goes with these kind of paintings, but I think because it's quite expressive, I think there's a lot going on with like the green. I think that's actually, for me, I found that the most overwhelming part compared to the roses, just because the colours are more harder to identify because it's so dark. But you might not have found that. If you've not, that's brilliant. I think the rose, because that's the focal point, that can be as equally overwhelming. So if you found that difficult as well, don't worry. Completely understand there's a lot going on in this piece. It's really just about tidying it up now. If you go with some dark purple, like say around the top of this flower, blend that out so you can see the clear distinction between one rose and the other. Yeah, like I say, really happy with this. Take the washi tape off, of course. Best part of any painting, doing this. Especially one that's as detailed as this. Oh, it's all coming off together. That never happens. Apparently this tape really wants to come off. Oh, I love it. So happy with the results of this. So there we have it. Hope you've all enjoyed this tutorial. I definitely have. I think it's been one of the hardest paintings I've done in a very long time. But simplified down, it's been really fun to do. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. I'd love to see your results. Feel free to email them over to me, Megan Cook with an E, art@gmail.com. I'd love to see what you've created. It means I can give you feedback as well if that's something you would like, of course, or you can just share whatever you've painted with me. So yeah, here it is. Oh, I love the rose, this one here, the focal point. Oh, I think it looks fabulous. I'm really happy with the results of this. Seeing how close I can get it to the camera. Oh, lovely. Right, thank you so much for watching, guys. And I'll see you soon with some more nature-themed tutorials. Bye!